Whoever sees this and subscribes right now will get free speech. Unless you're Drake, then apparently it doesn't count. What's going on, Hilltop Mafia? Now listen, we've been breaking down this Kendrick Lamar GNX album, and along the way, there's been a few side quests that we've had to take. And one of the biggest stories is Drake going back-to-back. No, not dropping back-to-back diss tracks on a rapper and Meek Milling them. I'm talking about going back-to-back and popping out and showing them how to do a lawsuit. Now, we already broke down the first case that Drake was levying against UMG that he was filing in New York. But I think it's really interesting, this second one, and it's worth talking about because some of the implications for hip-hop, for freedom of speech, for rap battles in general, there's really a lot on the line with this one. So yeah, let's dive into it. Drake has filed a second legal action against record label Universal Music over Kendrick Lamar's hit Not Like Us, which was released at the height of the pair's feud earlier this year. The star has accused Universal of defamation, and his legal papers claim the company could have halted the release of a song, falsely accusing him of being a sex offender. Certified lover boy, certified. Instead, his lawyers claim Universal executed a plan to make the song a viral mega hit and use Lamar's incendiary lyrics to drive consumer hysteria and, of course, massive revenues. Oh my god, a music label and a business who's trying to earn as much profits as possible from their artists is maximizing drama and controversy to leverage it?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
It was filed in Texas and also involves the radio giant iHeartRadio, which operates more than 850 stations across the U.S. According to Drake's lawyers, Not Like Us was heard more than 25 million times by listeners to iHeart stations in the 4 months after its release. Citing a whistleblower, they claim Universal potentially made covert payments to iHeart as part of a pay-to-play scheme to promote the song. Again, another surprise that I'm not very surprised by. Labels paying a radio station like a Spotify, like an iHeartRadio to favor their artists and to make sure that their artists get promoted. As in his previous filing, Drake goes on to accuse Universal of using bots to falsely inflate Kendrick Lamar's streaming numbers and of paying influencers to promote Not Like Us online, all of which the company has denied. You know, it's really interesting about accusing his own employer about business practices that they have used to help promote an artist. In a way, he's kind of outing himself, isn't he? Does anybody remember 6 years ago when Spotify was just mass promoting Drake, throwing him on every single playlist possible, even if it didn't necessarily apply to his genre? And it got so bad that fans were complaining. Those who were paying for premium were still being spammed with Drake. And Spotify went so far, it went so public that they started refunding fans who were complaining about all the Drake promo that was happening. I mean, look, for over a decade, Drake has been the golden boy of streaming platforms. He's been the golden boy of UMG. And I think through this beef and through this fallout, you see all the people that have turned against Drake. I think that reign has come with strings, because I think there's been a number of artists that have witnessed what's going on behind the scenes with Drake, witnessed the preferential treatment that he got, and then now was their time to finally speak out against it. Because before, if they would have spoken out against it, then obviously they would have been silenced, because yet again, he was the one who was on top. He was the one who had everyone promoting him. So what better person to point out possible tactics or to try to have insider information on these things and on these tactics than the one who was directly benefiting from it all in the first place? And I see a number of people commenting like, oh, Drake is going up against the machine. Here he is. It's Drake versus the industry. And it's like, no, he was the one who was a product of that industry machine. And now all of a sudden that machine is not working directly to benefit him. So he's upset and he's throwing his toys out of the cradle. But the latest documents add detail about Drake's grievances toward Universal, the label where he has spent his entire career. The documents claim the company knew that Lamar's song falsely accused him of being a certified PDF file and a predator, someone whose name should be registered and placed on Neighborhood Watch, but chose to release it anyway. Debuting at #1 on the US chart, it has also been nominated for 4 Grammy Awards, including Song of the Year. I mean, that is pretty wild that a diss track has become that and could win a Grammy. But again, there's some interesting elephants in the room in regard to the situation, and context is very key. It's a rap battle at the end of the day. And anyone who is in hip-hop will tell you there are no rules in a rap battle. There never has been. When you step into the ring with another MC, it's like gladiators going to battle. Nobody knows what's going to happen. That's why people love the drama. They love the spectacle. But it will get ugly. The gloves do come off and it gets personal because the object is to get under your opponent's skin. It's to try to trip up your opponent. And you try to attack everything about them. You try to dig up whatever dirt you can and you attack their character because you're tearing them down. You're trying to win this battle. And I say that there aren't any rules within the battle itself, but there's definitely rules around the battle. You know, just respecting the rap battle, keeping it hip hop, keeping it within the battle. And we talked about it in the last video, how turning and running to the feds is not a good look within any hip-hop community, and it's not going to do well for Drake's image at all. And a lot of people are going to point out the hypocrisy of Drake, because going into this battle, he was all excited. He was hyping it up, that he's not afraid, that he's going to walk into this beef. But he walked himself into this battle. He knew what he was getting into walking into this battle. Rap battles do not always end well, especially for the losers. And yeah, it can just totally tilt one's career. Look at Ja Rule, who's still chilling in Shaq's toilet. Benzino's still trying to get neck surgery. We're still waiting on that Meek Mill diss track. Also, speaking of rap battles and just evidence and situations and things being revealed, I mean, the last battle that Drake got into with Pusha T, well, it made him actually take care of his kid and be a good father. But I digress. The point I'm making is that there are dangers going into it, and Drake is well aware of those dangers walking into a rap battle with Kendrick Lamar. But let's not forget Family Matters, when he accuses Kendrick of beating Whitney, when he says that one of Kendrick's kids isn't his. And he definitely doubles and triples down on the beating and physical abuse allegations of Kendrick.
When you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense because she bigger than you?
So on one hand, you look at it that it's okay for Drake to get personal and Drake to throw all this information out there into the world to try to defame Kendrick Lamar in a sense. And yet the second that Kendrick Lamar gets personal, and the second that Kendrick Lamar has any lines that Drake doesn't like, that he doesn't bring evidence for, like Drake didn't bring evidence for, all of a sudden Kendrick can't do that. And speaking of evidence, remember when Drake tried to make the claim that he is the mole within his own camp, feeding Kendrick all the false information? So therefore, if he's suing Kendrick over defamation, and it's all based on the information that Kendrick has is wrong about Drake, when Drake already admitted that he's the one feeding Kendrick that false information, then Drake is not really suing Kendrick or UMG, but he's suing himself?
Reverse card.
What does that mean?
Reverse.
Oh, damn. All right, I got you, man.
And I think the greater danger and implications of all this are, what does this mean for rap battles in the future? If an artist gets involved in a high-level rap battle and beef, and for whatever reason they lose it and they don't like the outcome and the way it's going, then they can just turn to the courts to help them deal with the situation? Because you got to remember, we're operating within music. We're operating within art. We're operating within freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And the second that you start limiting that expression, you start limiting that freedom of speech, well, that's a very slippery slope. And you got to remember, this is hip hop. The streets are not going to like this. This is not the code of conduct for how you move, for how you deal with beef, for how you deal with battles. And Drake is already getting destroyed over it. You know, a move that would gain Drake better respect is if he still feels like this is hurting him, this is hurting his credibility, this is hurting his image, then get on wax and deal with that situation. Address it through the music. Again, you entered into this gladiator fight. You entered into this rap battle. Now all of a sudden it hasn't gone your way. You can't back out and use other means. Continue the fight, or walk away completely. Because musicians use music to express themselves. That is their right. That is their freedom of expression and creativity. The second that we start filtering it, right, you start making any rapper think, oh, I can't go into a battle. I can't say things. I'm worried about getting sued. Again, you see how dangerous this is and the implications that it means just for expression, for art and music, period. And look, one thing you can't do is take away from Drake's success, from the numbers he has done and from the numbers that he continues to do. The man knows how to write hits. The man knows how to write hooks. The man has been successful and been adaptable in the game for a very long time. I just think that in this situation, for the sake of hip hop, for the sake of culture, ironically, all he is doing by pursuing these lawsuits is just proving Kendrick's claims about how he doesn't really understand the culture and how he's an outsider taking advantage of it right. But what do you guys think? Comment down below. It's funny, when I make these videos, I know that there's some Drake bots that'll appear. They'll start attacking me. But yeah, try to keep it civil, right? Let me know your thoughts about the situation. You guys wanted to hear what I think about it. And I think it's a very important video to update you on this situation, to cover it. Because yeah, this is going to have a fallout. And this is going to have ramification for months and years to come. So we'll keep an eye on it and we'll keep our pulse to it. But anyways, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay positive. It's Willie Knox Hill. You know, we're back on our grind. Also, go check out my Kendrick Lamar album breakdowns. I think it's no coincidence that this lawsuit happened when Kendrick dropped his album to try to take away some of the shine and the luster and put Drake back into the conversation. But yeah, definitely go check out that album, those breakdowns. We've done every single song. We put in the grind. We put in the time. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay positive. It's Willie Knox Hill. You know, catch you again.